Now, as we wait to find out more of President-elect Trump's choices, several prominent Oklahoma politicians are being named as possible cabinet members.
As News 4's Spencer Humphrey tells us, it's happened before.
There's no denying Oklahoma is a red state. Yet again this year, every county in Oklahoma voted Republican. The only other state to do that was West Virginia. So it makes sense that Oklahoma would have plenty of Republican options for an incoming Republican president to pick from when putting together his cabinet. And this week, numerous reports surfacing that President-elect Donald Trump may be eyeing Oklahoma U.S. Senator Markwayne Mullin to serve as Secretary of the Interior or Secretary of Veterans Affairs.
I think Mullin has kind of put out the feelers that he's available, and he certainly kind of fits the bill.
UCO political science professor Brett Sharp says Mullin would check a lot of boxes for someone like Trump.
And he fits that Trump mold, you know, he's just so aggressively masculine.
Mullin is also a Cherokee citizen, and Sharp says if appointed to something like Interior Secretary, Mullin could help ease concerns some tribal leaders in Oklahoma have over what a Trump presidency would mean for them.
Well, Mullin would be a voice, I think, that would, talk about the other side, and maybe any kind of knee-jerk reaction that would go against the tribes, they would rethink it. That would be something I think would be reassuring.
A spokesperson for Mullin's office tells us so far, President Donald Trump and Senator Mullin have not spoken about any cabinet positions, but also telling us they'll let us know if that changes. Mullin is not the only Oklahoma name being tossed around for a possible cabinet position. This week, several reports also mentioned State Superintendent Ryan Walters as possibly being on Trump's shortlist for U.S. Secretary of Education.
He may have from the very beginning. He's very Trumpist, Trump-like in a lot of ways.
And with Trump at the helm, Sharp won't rule out any possibility, but he thinks the likelihood of Walters landing in Trump's cabinet is not extremely high.
And I think a lot of what he does is for show, and just to be kind of in your face with the liberals on a variety of issues. My understanding is that Ryan Walters, as Trump-like as he at least aspires to be, is not really well liked in Trump circles.
An Oklahoman heading up a federal agency isn't unheard of. It happened in Trump's first presidency when he tapped then Oklahoma Attorney General Scott Pruitt to head up the EPA. But he only lasted in that role a little more than a year before resigning amid numerous federal investigations.
Hopefully, if we have a Markwayne Mullin or somebody, it will work out better for everybody.
Now, if hypothetically Senator Mullin were to leave his Senate seat, it would be up to Governor Stitt to appoint a temporary replacement. Things get complicated from there because Oklahoma has a law that would effectively ban that temporary replacement senator from running to keep the seat permanently when that term ends. But Sharp says it's also likely that that person could challenge that law as being unconstitutional. I reached out to Governor Stitt's office to get his thoughts on all these possibilities, but nobody responded. I also reached out to State Superintendent Ryan Walters' office to see if he has any thoughts on his name being in these discussions. Again, though, nobody answered me.